In this lesson, we'll look at the Eclipse Integrated Development Environment. And if you haven't loaded the Android Developer Tools bundle, I'll show you how to download Eclipse to your computer. You'll use Eclipse to do the program code development and testing for your apps. Eclipse is a multi-platform environment. We'll be using it for the combination of Java, XML, and Android. Eclipse provides tools for coding, running, and debugging your apps. You'll see your apps run in virtual device emulators and also on actual devices you'll connect to your computer via USB cables. So here's the approach we'll take with Eclipse. First, I'll show you how to load Eclipse onto your computer if you didn't already load the Android Developer Tools bundle, which includes Eclipse. Second, we'll have you start up Eclipse and follow me through a look at the basics. Third, I'll give you links to resources you can use to supplement the Eclipse training we'll do in this course. And fourth, as we go through the lessons in the course, I'll explain key Eclipse capabilities. So back to step one. I'll show you how to download Eclipse if you haven't already loaded it as part of the Android Developer Tools bundle. If you have loaded the bundle, pause the course and start the Android Developer Tools bundle now. Remember, what you're really starting is Eclipse with the Android Tools bundled into it. Even if you have started Eclipse via the ADT bundle, watch the following brief segment on installing Eclipse, which will be followed by a look at Eclipse capabilities and resources. So, if you're going to install Eclipse separately, first click on this link to the Eclipse homepage, eclipse.org. Then click the Download button. Then click Eclipse for Mobile Developers. Then choose the operating system you're using. Then click on the location from which you're downloading. And you'll see the download start. I'm going to cancel it out because I already have it installed. Now let's take a look at an actual Eclipse environment. I'll show you what it looks like on my computer, as you see here, and you can follow along using Eclipse on your computer. Having your hands on the Android development tools is an important part of learning in this course. There's no substitute for the immediate feedback you get from the software itself. What you should learn in this lesson is the basic layout of Eclipse and how to navigate around different perspectives and windows. Don't worry about understanding every button and option. You'll learn the lower-level details of Eclipse as we use it in future lessons for coding, debugging, and testing various applications. Eclipse is a large and comprehensive tool, and the best approach to learning it in this course is to learn by doing. So as we go through the lessons, I'll discuss the pertinent aspects of Eclipse and how to apply them to the lesson at hand. We'll start with the basic layout and functions it performs. What you're seeing on your screen might not match exactly what you see on mine. There are lots of different options for setting up the Eclipse layout. As we go through this lesson, you should be able to get your layout to match or to look very similar to mine. Don't worry, though, if there are differences. You'll be learning how to manage the layouts and move around between them. And this is part of the skill set necessary for using Eclipse in the Android tools. One aspect of the complexity of Android is that you can't see everything all at once. You'll learn how to get the information you need when you need it. One fundamental concept in Eclipse is that of workspaces. A workspace is a collection of packages, which are in turn collections of Java classes. An Android app is one type of package. You can define multiple workspaces that can be opened in Eclipse. Using multiple workspaces allows you to organize your work into manageable chunks. You can place a workspace as a folder anywhere you want in your computer's file system. The workspace you see here is empty. There's nothing shown in the Package Explorer here. Now I'll change workspaces by using the File drop-down menu and switch workspace. And here you see where I've defined workspaces in folders on my computer. And I'm going to select this one, the Android Course Workspace. Now don't worry if you see Eclipse disappear after you select the new workspace. Look down in your tray and you'll see the icon here for Eclipse. So now we see a couple of app packages I've loaded into the workspace. In the lesson coming up on developing your first app, you'll have Java and XML to work with in your Eclipse workspace. When you do, you can expand the file structure, like so. We see Java files here, and XML layout files here, and those can be opened up to show in the center window here. On the right is a window with an outline of the code in the center, and in this case it's very simple. Here, let's take a look over here, a little more complex. Now the outline can be useful for larger applications. And now look in the upper right, and you see tabs for different perspectives. If you don't see these on your Eclipse screen, click on Window, Open Perspective, and if you click on Other, you'll see a full list of all the different perspectives available. You might need to say click Debug to open up another perspective. So on my system, I have the perspective open for Java, for programming Java, and also XML. The debug perspective for debugging. And we can also click on the DDMS perspective. DDMS stands for Dalvik Debug Monitor Service, and Dalvik is the virtual machine that's executing your Java code, and we'll save the explanation of these windows for our lesson on debugging. Now look along the top at the drop-down menus and tool buttons. As you switch perspectives, you see the tool buttons change. The drop-down menus remain the same. Now let's go through these very quickly. There's a file drop-down for file and switching workspaces, as you saw me do. An edit menu for copying and pasting. A refactor drop-down for changing names within an application, for example. Run drop-down for starting your programs, executing and debugging. A source drop-down for performing operations on the source. Navigation for moving around inside your app. Search. Project drop-down for doing things like cleaning up errors. Window drop-down for customizing perspectives. And a help drop-down for typical help content search and also checking for updates, which we'll discuss later. And below the drop-down menus are the buttons which give you quick access to key functions from the drop-down menus. So this should give you a start at getting a feel for the Eclipse functional layout. And now let's take a look at some Eclipse resources you can use if you need or want to enhance your understanding of Eclipse. I've divided the resources into overviews, references, and courses. And these will be useful not only at this point in this course, but also as we move through the lessons. The Wikipedia gives a good overview of the Eclipse IDE, includes a bit of history, release information, a bit about the architecture, etc. If you're interested in integrated development environments in general, this wiki article is a good resource. Overview, history. The Eclipse website has a number of useful resources. Here's a peek at the home page. And the resources page on eclipse.org has a number of useful resources. And one of the most useful is documentation, and specifically the Workbench user guide. And you can download the guide PDF zip file to your computer by clicking here. I've also included a link to some books on Amazon.com on Eclipse, and there's quite a variety to choose from. Under courses, I've included a couple of links. One is to training on the Eclipse site. This is a page listing some periodic instructor-led courses. And the second is to a page listing some video tutorials. So that's a quick overview of Eclipse. As I said, we'll be exploring various Eclipse capabilities in more detail in many of the course lessons.